Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Amanda and today I am playing with a bunch of things. So first off, I'm playing with Mixed Media Mayhem, and this is the prompt with the picture beside with the pixelated squares. Also playing with Christie's Wheel Fly 30 Days of Sketches, and this is the sketch, which will come up in a second again, and then Counterfeit Kit Challenge. I'm also playing with my kit. So I saw the prompt and I knew I had this paper, so I pulled this paper out for it. And then I had an idea and it didn't quite turn out the way I wanted it to, but that's okay. So I pulled out this picture of our first trailer. We don't have this one anymore, but it's our first one. And so I thought I'd document it. And so the first thing I did is I chopped this into 4 squares because there's 4 squares on Nadine's sketch. And then I was going to overlap them. But I wanted to cut up the edges and make it a little bit kind of like the prompts for Mixed Media Mayhem. So I think it would have worked better with something a little different than this paper, but it is what it is. I do like it. It just, I don't know if you can really see the sketch, but that's okay. And so I'm just spacing these out and trying to sort out where I want these papers to be. And had I left it like this, it totally probably would have been able to see that there's like 4 pieces of paper there. But it's when I do this other bit that I really wanted to do that totally changes that. So I'm going to cut out just some of these little squares so that it looks like it's got pieces missing, because it does have pieces missing. So, and I just thought that would look neat and a little bit different. So there's one of them done. And then I'm going to gut out the other squares. And so just checking to see where I want that to happen for sure. And so it's going to come out like this. And then where it overlaps, it doesn't get cut into the pixelated pieces. And I think that might have helped on that bottom one. Had I done that with like the whole thing with all of the edges that we're showing, it probably would have worked a little better. I don't know. It ends up looking like one piece of paper that I cut out funny or differently. Not funny, just differently. But it is what it is. So this is me just sorting out how I want this to be and look. And then as I put the cutting all the little bits and pieces out of the next 3 papers, I'll make you watch that. And so, yeah, so this is kind of how I set it up. I will get that top piece too, and then here we go. It's all together. That last one cut out. And you see what I mean? Like it all looks like one piece of paper now instead of 4. But oh well. I thought about matting this. That green wasn't quite the right greeny, and I didn't like the black. I just was like, I don't know what to do with that. So I did know I wanted to do a little inking on the background, so I pulled out this stencil, and I pulled out my pigment inks because they're going to sit on the paper a little bit more than my dye ink, so they're going to be more visible. So these are most of my pigment ones because I don't usually buy very many pigment ones. So I'm going to use the yellow, and I'm going to use that zigzag first. This is like a planner stencil. So, and I'm literally just going to take the Hero Arts ink pad and just smush it in. And yeah, just like that. And then in different spots. And I did mark with pencil, but this is just a little easier, moving it forwards and backwards. And a little more and a little more. It doesn't need to be everywhere for me, but in a few spots. And then I'm going to take the stencil again, and I'm going to use this, not this blue because it's not coming out very well. I'm going to use the Hero Arts. It's like a tealy kind of blue. So it does actually match pretty well with the blue that's in that paper. And just in a few places. And if you can hear my daughter in the background, she's baking, so And then I thought about red for a hot minute, and then needs a little more blue, and I decided I didn't really want to try the red. I kind of wanted some red on the background, but I was like, no, I don't know. I didn't find anything that I really wanted to add, so And so I'm going to glue this down, and as you can imagine, it takes me quite a while to glue it down with all those little bits and pieces, so that's the tail end of it. It took a bit. So I did cut some stuff out of this one, only because a lot of it takes quite a bit of time to, like, all that cutting those squares out took probably about 40 minutes. And so that would have been really monotonous to do that on screen for the whole time. I am just putting some of these that I cut out just randomly. I could have put more, but I didn't. Just a few. And then in the top corners, I'm going to put one in each, just to like make that stay in, or contained almost. I'm going to crop my picture down just a little bit. And so on the sketch I had rotated it, so I was going to put it at the bottom, but I'm going to put it in the middle. And that doesn't help with it looking like one piece of paper, but I've decided, all right, whatever. So I went and grabbed out some of my camping stuff. This is some Sandy Lion stickers from 2008. And so I'm just going to put a whole bunch of these on in a diagonal. So outdoor adventures, camping anyone, happy camper, and up top gets life at the best, exploring the outdoors, camping. Underneath happy camper it gets an R&R eventually. And so here's the top ones going on. And yeah, it's not my favorite layout. I don't hate it. It's just, I don't love it. It's a layout. It'll be one of many, and that's okay. So I did think about that blue for a hot second, and I went, I don't really want the blue. But like the setting up camp would have been an okay one to have on there, but the blue is not there, and I did not want to try and find some other blue like that. And the orange isn't quite there, but there's a lot of yellow and red on here, so I felt like the orange ties in okay. And then I'm pulling out my wood veneer. I think this is a Wild Whisper trailer. I think that adventure piece is a Studio Calico. And then that tree is going to stay. So I just dumped it all out because some of those I'm not sure what I'll do with, but like the teepee. And then just looking at some of my other stuff, that Rome would have worked good if I hadn't got all the other words on there already. And then I had these fabric pieces, so I'm going to pull out the fabric pieces, and the Let's Go flag is going to go there. And this one has a geotag and an airplane and a car and a world, and not that we're on a plane or anything like that, or even going outside the country, but I thought it worked. It was the right colors. So I'm going to get this down, and then this flag. It is adhesive, but it is old, so it was pulling the adhesive off. And photo, yay. Going to commit to this piece too. And then this wood veneer tree is going to go up here, so I have wood in a couple spots at least, or just a couple spots. And then I'm looking at, this has a bear on it, and it's one of those flappy ones that you can do a tab with, but there's nothing to do a tab with on here, so I'm just seeing where I would want to put the bear. We were actually bear camping when we were doing this, so this was in, I think just outside of Waterton when we were camping here. So little bear is going to go up there, and then the piece that I cut off is going to go down at the bottom. And then I'm thinking, what else do I want? So this piece is the same color as the blue in the pattern paper, and so it says let's go on an adventure, and I'm looking for my sketch. There it is. I'm like, okay, not even close, but it's gonna go here. I like it here. There's a banner piece up here for Nadine's, but mine's just gonna be on the other side. And I decided good enough, and it's done. So not my favorite, but it's okay. If you liked my video today, I would love a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, I would love it if you subscribed. I will have Nadine, Michelle, and Christy's Beautiful Life 18 Days of Sketches and Mixed Media Mayhem playlists and Facebooks and all sorts of things linked below. And there's a couple other videos here. I would love it if you liked, subscribed, or commented. And thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a wonderful day.